everyone, so today I am starting a reading vlog, and I don't know whether this is just going to be like my book club with Jess wrap up and like vlog and thoughts, whether I'm going to do a separate video, but for book club with Jess book club pick for July, we have chosen the Paige Toon. This came out, I want to say it was the 24th of June, and whenever Paige releases a new book we always do it for the following month. So this was the book club pick. I think I'm like 80 pages into it. I started it, yeah, I'm 92, chapter 9. Sorry, that was a text message from school. Let me just put you down because my arms ache. What was I saying? Sorry. Anyway, as I was saying, I started this, was it last night? No, it was the night before, just outside in the garden in the evening, and I'm really enjoying it. So this is going to be a spoiler-filled, chatty reading vlog about this book. I always do a reading vlog when it comes to Paige Toon books, although having said that I don't think I did that last year, but I did do it the year before with If You Could Go Anywhere. So I'm going to read the blurb if you're watching this and don't know, and then anything that I say after the blurb will be spoilers. So it says, then at 15 George is the... I haven't even read the blurb. That's how loyal I am to a Paige Toon book. Don't even need to know what it is. I'm going to read it. Then, at 15, George is the foster brother of Leah, never asked for. As the angry, troubled boy struggles to come to terms with his circumstances, Leah finds himself getting drawn closer to him. Theo has mysteriously left boarding school and is now at the local state school with Leah and George. When their worlds collide that summer, the three teenagers form a bond they believe will be unbreakable. Now, shocking news brings Leah back to Yorkshire, baby daughter in tow, but Emily's father Theo isn't with them and George has unexpectedly returned. After half a lifetime, have they healed from the scars of their pasts? Will coming back home set their hearts in a new direction? So, spoilers from here on out. What have I read? So I really like the format of this book and it makes you want to read more. So it's set like then, now then, so then you're constantly flitting backwards and forwards, but it's not jarring in any way, shape or form. Like, just the way that Paige writes is just, it just comes across so effortlessly, and when I'm reading it I'm like, how does she do it? Because I couldn't do that. Like, I'm not clever, and I just love the way that it's written. It's, like I said, it makes you want to think, well what's happened, like what is she doing at this current point, and things like that. So I was very confused in the first chapter because there were so many people. My battery's flashing, typical. Oh no, it wasn't the first chapter, it was it the prologue? Yeah, it was the prologue. So I was very confused in that because it was like so many people, it was like a party, like what on earth was going on? And then we obviously skip forward and we sort of see where the book's going. So in the prologue they were at a party, they went home and the babysitter got in a taxi to go home. Theo had had a couple of drinks. Theo and Leah are together, they've got a little girl called Emily, and we find out that her parents are, like it says on the blurb of the book, they foster children, and it's the troubled ages from like pre-teen to late teen. That's the ages that they do, because apparently those kids are the ones that aren't necessarily picked up. I don't want to say that, but they're not taken as easily as say younger kids. So we learn that, and then Theo feels uncomfortable about what happened, like the taxi driver. So he was like, I've just had one drink, I'm gonna get in the car and go, and then it ends like, and the door clicks. I think that he's died. I don't know that. He could have gone off and had an affair and never come back. Don't know, but I just get the vibe that he's died. We then find out that Leah's dad has passed away, and she goes to the funeral, and obviously because of his dad and all the people that they fostered, George comes back. We don't really know anything about George at this point, but we know that there are some sort of like underlying feelings and stuff, or like history. So George has come back, and you sort of then gradually you go back in time, and then you gradually see sort of like how George came into their life and how the relationship started to build. We see that Theo got on the normal school bus, and normally he goes to a private school, so we're like getting a little bit of feelings, not feelings, like we're establishing what's going on. We saw Theo get into a fight with some of the kids at school, because obviously they're picking on him, and they take his cigarettes, and then he then goes back to get them, like starts another fight, and then George steps in, and that's sort of where I'm where I'm currently at in the past section. And then in the future, like in the current day section, she fainted, Leah fainted, and George took her back to her home with her, like to her mum's house, and then she said something. She said a line like, "Did you find her?" And I think he shook his head. I can't remember, I need to reread it. And then in the past section, I'm really sorry this isn't making any sense. In the past section, we find out that George was put into the system, and he had a 3 or 4-year-old sister, and they got separated. And I think what would have happened, again, I don't know, he got separated, he then went to go and try and find her, and he went missing, never heard anything, like Leah never heard anything, and then he's just suddenly shown up, and she's like, "Did you find her?" And I think the answer is no. So that's where we're at. I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, I'm 92 pages in. It is just short of, hang on, it's 360 pages, so not bad going. I'm going to take my time. I'll probably read it over the next week or two. I have a deadline to read this. I need to read this before my reduction. My reduction is on the 6th of August. So I've got time. I'll definitely be able to do that, because I can read a book really quickly, but with summer holidays near approaching, today's the 19th of July, it's easier said than done, but I can do it. So that's where we're at. I hope you will enjoy this vlog. I'll try and keep you updated as much as I can. Update from me. Still reading. Page 121. No, 120, sorry. "Your mum told me about your prison visits," George says quietly. I flinched before dully replying. He doesn't want to see me anymore, apparently finds it too hard. So maybe Theo didn't die. Maybe he caused a drink driving accident. He was on, it was drinking and driving, got in a crash, and now he's in prison. It's got me thinking, it's got me on my toes. And we've also, Paige does this thing with her books. She really like quickly and briefly mentions one of her old characters, and in this one we see Bronte from 13 Weddings, and we find out that she's living in London and she's got twins, and Emily in this, Leah's little girl, was playing and like was quite close with the twins. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Really nice read. And I don't normally sit out in the daytime and read, and I just want to know what happens, so I'm doing that, and I'm getting a good little tan. I've still got my bra on, obviously. Yeah, I'll update you if I have any more thoughts and feels. I have got some updating to do. I didn't film where I got up to yesterday. It's now the next night. I'm clearly ready for bed. And I thought I would quickly check in. So yesterday I told you I started at page, I think it was like 90, so like 96 or something. I read so much yesterday, like late morning, early afternoon, because Florence had a 3-hour nap, so I made the most of that. And I managed to read until I think it was like 210, so I did really well, and I wasn't intending on reading that much at all, but I just got sucked in. I always do whenever I read a page. I like how, I think I said yesterday, oh, I've got until like the 6th of August, I'll get it done. If not tonight, I'll get it done tomorrow. So it's like 3 days. I love it. So, where do I begin? Found out, got more of a backstory. Whoa, I'm not in focus. There we go. Okay, so we got more of a backstory about George. So we found out that he has got a little sister called Sophie, and she is now living in Devon, or she was in Leeds and then she got relocated to Devon, and we found out that he ran away. This is in current day times, reflecting on the past. We found out that he ran away, he went to Leeds and like hitchhiked and everything, and went down to Devon and couldn't find her and everything like that. So we know all of that stuff. The relationship between the three of them is like more established now, and they're like a little trio because Leah's friend Becky is still off school, although she's started to come back now. Sorry, tired. What else have we learned? I'm very confused and very conflicted by, not conflicted, it's keeping me on my toes, and I feel like it should be predictable, but it's not for me, and if you've read it you'll have to let me know. But the whole Theo situation, so first of all, like I said, I thought he died, and then I thought he was in prison, and now I think, I don't really know what to think, because she's very much like, oh, I'm still in love with him, and she's now writing letters to him, and I'm like, are they letters for like your memory, and it's just like a mental thing, like a mental coping mechanism because he has died, or is he actually in prison and you're sending him these letters, or was he killed in a car crash and she's writing these letters, and then the person she's going to visit in prison is the person that killed him? Like, I don't know, and I don't find that predictable at all. I've got a friend that's read it and she said she found it really predictable, and I can't relate because I don't know how it's going to go. So that's interesting. I'm really enjoying it because I'm obviously reading it so fast. I really like the setting of it, and I feel like Paige has like smashed it in the sense of like the lingo and like the abbreviations of what northerners say. Are they northerners? I don't know, but it's like someone walked into the pub and they said "A up," and I would never say that. So it's just like small little things like that. It's just great. And looking at her Instagram and like seeing, because she always does like photo dumps on her stories of like, this is where this is set, and just being able to have that visual representation. Even I could Google it, but it's different when it comes from the author themselves. I appreciate that shit and I love it. I think it's going to be a 4-star read for me. I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it, I'm loving the concept. I've never read anything about fostering before, and I love the dynamic between George and Leah, and I love the dynamic between Leah and Theo. And I think for me, you can tell that she loves George and is in love with George, and I feel like she makes do and settles with Theo, but who knows where it's going to go. But yeah, I feel like it's a 4-star read just because 5 years from now is a 5-star, and I still think about that book 4 years on. That book destroyed me. I'm now going to go and read a little bit more. So 9:30, so I'm going to go to bed because who didn't go to sleep till 2:30 last night? Myself. Was it due to reading? No, it was due to the heat wave, and I had really hot feet, and I can't sleep when I have hot feet, and I was hungry, and it was just not an enjoyable time. I should also just add that we have found out that Theo, that is not a bra there, by the way. I wish my bras were that small. That's my eye mask. I'm now a person that wears an eye mask. We've just found out that Theo got taken away to a boarding school in Italy the same day that George ran away. So that's a lot to deal with. And also another point that I hadn't said when I was sat on the sofa was that Ashley and Nia have been adopted and they've gone together. I'm now up to page 20, chapter 27, page 283. So let's see how much I can get done. The whole situation about Theo. So someone wanted to see her, so she went to go to see all the prisoners. And then the next page, 290, I understand he lost his wife and the mother-to-be of his baby girl. Only 1 month shy of being born, I lost my husband. Theo was taken from me when Carl, the slight blonde man in his 30s sitting opposite, crashed into Theo in a head-on collision. Carl had been drinking and was over the limit, as was Theo, although just barely, but it counted in Carl's favour when he was sentenced. He hadn't drunk that much and was only driving because his wife was tired, but it was enough to alter his judgment on the narrow country road. So she's obviously been seeing this guy called Carl, who was responsible for the loss of Theo. Is that the twist? Is that... I really like George as a character. He's a really nice guy. So he told Leah that he didn't want to have kids. In a couple of chapters when we saw him again. And so he told Leah that he doesn't want to have kids, and that's obviously been weighing on her mind because she's obviously got a child. And he was like, no, I don't want to have children of my own. I want to do what your parents did. I want to like foster and adopt. And I just think, what a beautiful human being. Like, after everything he went through, he wants to do that too. I love that. I think that's really sweet. I'm winding down. I'm going to finish it tonight. There's not much left to go. They finally had their first kiss. I'm just going to keep reading. So I finished Someone I Used to Know last night, and I didn't want to do my thoughts straight away because I wanted to sit and think about it and think about my feels. So I'm going to give it a 4, I think. I really enjoyed it. I flew through it. I read it in just over 24 hours, which is very unlike me. That was something I used to do years ago. And then I've started taking my time with reads, but with this one I just wanted to know what happened and wanted to know what was going on. And I think the way that it was written, in the sense of like then and now, in between each chapter, it's really spurred me on to read it. I loved the ending. Sometimes I finish a Paige Toon and I'm like, just one more chapter. Like, I remember having that feeling when I read One Last Summer with the Joe and Alice story. Was that their names? When it was set in Cambridge. I did a reading vlog at the start of the year. And I loved that book on reflection, and looking back, I really loved that book. But I still remember that feeling of finishing, and I was just like, just one more chapter, just like a little bit more depth would have gone a long way for me. Even though we did get it in One Perfect Christmas, I sort of feel like that should have been included in the original book. This had that. It had the ending that I really wanted. So obviously we found out about Theo, and she was writing to him like in her brain, and she was just putting the letters in the post box to just Theo White, because he changed his name. He didn't want to be associated with his family. I also didn't realise that was her surname. We found that right at the end of the book. I don't know if that was right or not. But we discovered that she was just putting them in the post box, and someone that she knew collected them and just gave them back to her, sort of thing. And she ended up scattering the ashes because her and George were getting together, and she like wrote a letter to him, to Theo, to be like, we are getting together, I hope you approve, like he's not who he used to be. Not that he was bad, but he obviously went through a lot of trauma. And we then sort of see them develop a relationship. We found out that Sophie got in touch, and George and Sophie like reconnected, which was really nice, and she was really happy. And we saw him like gradually become like a proper figure in like Emily's life and things like that. And then the epilogue, when it was 10 years on, and I loved the fact that they did what her parents did, like they went to do fostering, and I really loved that. And they were sat with the trees, and how they were like, we're never going to see like these trees mature, nor will Emily, but it's like our legacy and things like that. And I was like, I loved that, like I really loved that. And the fact that they're doing so much good, and they've got like twin girls, and I just loved the way it all tied up. I thought it was really well done. I would really recommend it. It's a really nice summer read. Lovely, like heartwarming story. It's not 5 years from now. That one will always be my favourite. That book broke me. I didn't cry at this. I don't know if that makes me heartless and cold, but for me there wasn't anything that was really that sad, I don't think. Don't get me wrong, there were parts, but not for me and like my emotions. But I loved it, and I love the cover. I think it's so beautiful, and I think for a cover that looks so like light, like it looks like a light read, it does actually go into some really deep topics. And I love Paige so much, and I can't wait to see what she does next. I can't wait to see the colour choice of the cover next time. What are we missing? We've got loads of different colours now. I'd appreciate a new green. But yeah, I loved it. Maybe an orange or a pink, like a light pink. Who knows? But yes, I loved it. I can't wait to see what else is going to come about from this book. I can't wait to see what more she's got. She's probably one of my top authors of all time for this genre. And yeah, so I really hope you all enjoyed this reading vlog. I haven't done one for a really long time. I think the last time I did one was for a Paige Toon book. I've got 3 left to read that I haven't read, because I just can't binge all of her books. I've got Johnny Be Good and Baby Be Mine, and then I've got The Sun in Her Eyes, and then I've also got the Johnny Be Good YA spin-off with Jessie Jefferson. So I've still got a few, but I'm just savouring them because I can't not have a Paige Toon on my shelf that's unread. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this vlog. Leave me all your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts and your feels. Obviously have the discussion in the comments. If you want to get involved with my book club, it is over on my Instagram, Book Club with Jess. Don't know what our August pick is going to be at the moment, because I am going for my surgery, so it'll probably be one that I'm not taking part in. So if you've got any suggestions, sorry about my postpartum hair growth, if you've got any suggestions, please leave them down below. And yeah, hopefully see you over there. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.